President Trump, President Zelensky, uh, NATO, Syria, the Arab countries meetings to decide on Gaza. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have also the Morning Star. I have some pictures for the spaceship of Kikanu. Uh, so yeah, so let's begin. You know what happened in White House recently when President Volodymyr Zelensky he refused to sign a deal that would give American state minerals, precious minerals that exist in Ukraine to America. So about $350 billion. This is what the President Trump he want uh, in gold or silver or uranium or other. I don't know if they have uranium in Ukraine. So let's try to understand President Trump point of view. Then we're gonna talk about President Zelensky point of view, and we're gonna talk also about the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been kept in the dark. I mean, in the MSN. Not a lot talk about him, his plans for Gaza, how we're gonna proceed with war, because Hamas have refused to release all the hostages, and they are planning to continue the war in Gaza, and even in Lebanon, they are they want Hezbollah to clash with Lebanon army, so that they can go in and help Lebanon army, or they can uh, or they can try to they have already helped Hezbollah Israel. Oh no. Of course, when the deal was made, Israel could easily have withdrawn all troops as it is written in the agreement, but they did not. They kept 5 points. They kept positions on the hills and hoped for a war between Lebanon army and Hezbollah, so they can watch when their enemy is being destroyed, not by them, but by other local entity. So of course, this is a very stupid to keep their positions in Lebanon. That means they are saying Hezbollah is a legitimate uh, resistant movement. So they gave the Hezbollah the the title they wanted to have all these years. And because you know that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he is not too smart. He cannot plan. He cannot have this political career. Uh, he is not political actually, but rather like what's it's called they have this military mind. They believe in the military power. They don't believe in politics, diplomatics, and stuff like. So of course, this mindset we have also in President Zelensky, and we have a lot of common characters between President Zelensky and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We know both are Jews, and President Zelensky actually is trying to. Let's suppose that President Zelensky is trying to create greater Israel in Europe. Let's say a tsunami hits Israel and Israel is devastated, and all these Jews, like talking about not like some kind of earthquake that we have seen before, but a very, very powerful earthquake that will destroy the whole of Israel. And then the Jews will find themselves forced to leave for Europe. And this is why President Zelensky is trying to create a nation for the Jews. He's Jew himself, because you know that Israel is vulnerable. It's very easy to like force the Jewish people population to go other places, because they have some kind of, like President Trump said, tiny. They have tiny country, and they cannot expand now unless they remove the people of Gaza, and they didn't succeed in that by war. So they counted with President Trump, like Joker card, to help to help force Palestinians and Arabs to move Palestinians from Gaza to other Arab countries. And this is what was threatened and called hell will open up in Gaza, as President Trump threatened. And why I talk about planet Mars? Because planet Mars is inhabited. Of course, this stuff I'm talking about, it's not easy. People will say, "Oh, this guy is just talking," and maybe he is not like he has some problem with his mental health. Maybe I'm crazy. This is my belief. I believe planet Mars is inhabited. And when President Trump and Elon Musk, he said he would move. Why I'm looking like this? Because I have pain in my neck and I want to release the blood. So I need to look up in the camera. I can go back like this, but it will not be very easy for me to talk. So we go back again. Planet Mars is inhabited according to Galactic Federation. And these guys also, they are the one who control the world, power to be, and they have UFO ships, and they have agents in every government. We talked about this before. So how can Galactic Federation in America and Galactic Federation in Ukraine have different views on what's going on, and how can it solve the problem in Ukraine? So let's talk about President Zelensky, why he wants to create Greater Israel in Ukraine. Because if you don't have a reserve country, you will not survive what is coming. We're talking about the incoming, the planet Nibiru, NIBIRU, and this will create havoc on Earth. And of course, the leaders are not worried for their own skin because they have built the bunkers. Before Nibiru will start its impact on Earth, these leaders will disappear in 1 second. In 1 second, they will disappear. They will go under. They go underground. They go to the bunkers. They have all the facilities, and they are ready for this kind of scenario. So let's go back to President Trump. President Trump, he wants to help create Greater Israel in the Middle East. You see the difference between the two guys? Greater Israel in Ukraine or Greater Israel in Palestine. So this is the problem here in the Middle East. Sorry. So the problem here is the Greater Israel is let's say you want to have a reserve country, you have it on planet Mars, because President Trump, he promised he will reach planet Mars with the help, of course, of the Elon Musk. And of course, they have country for Jews in Ukraine and country for Jews in the Middle East. This is the best solution. The problem here is which is the most important stuff. So of course, this is President Trump. He when President Biden was ruling, President Trump was watching, and he thought that not happening, are not succeeding in war in Ukraine. They are losing. The Russians, they are not losing, and he thought because a lot of resources. This is talking about President Trump mindset. A lot of resources is being put on different places, while he want to concentrate on Greater Israel. Who is the main problem for the Israelis in the Middle East? We're talking about the last year before President Trump was elected or re-elected. So those guys who thought if President Trump will be re-elected, how are we gonna proceed? So they started this plan to try to make peace with Russia, so they can put all the resources, not fighting Russia, but fighting for creating a greater Israel. So this is the main problem. So President Erdogan, he talked to President Putin, and he said to him, you know that President Trump is coming, and President Trump is hooked on a greater Israel plan, and you have troops in Syria, and you are protecting the regime. You are not helping to create greater Israel, President Putin. And this is what President Trump wants, most of all. So how are we gonna try to make a deal? So of course, President Putin, he said, okay, I have an idea. If President Trump wants greater Israel, you need to do some sacrifices. This is sacrifices is called Ukraine. So Ukraine, of course, it was sacrificed on the altar of Jehovah, and this is the information for the Europeans. You cannot understand the President Trump. He needs to create greater Israel. It's very important for him. He does not care about Ukraine. He does not care about President Zelensky. He wants greater Israel, most of all, and he cannot create greater Israel unless Russians are out from the Middle East. And this is exactly what happened in November. The Russians took out the troops, and even they allowed the President Assad to escape to Russia. And that was a confrontation that everybody was desiring, that never happened. All these Muslim radicals, they believe that one day have a war with Russia, the next day God will come and save them. It's called Marak Arum, the Battle of Arum, and it's supposed to happen in northern Syria. So this is why the radical Islam were gathering power in Idlib, and also Mujahideen from the whole world. You remember many European countries, they supported this Islam, radical Islam, to have President Assad toppled. So they wanted to take out President Assad through this organization, Radical Islam, ISIS, and these guys. So President Trump, he thought, I want to create greater Israel. I don't want to have any obstacles or resistance. Of course, the Russians in Syria were not fighting against Israel. They were fighting against ISIS and these guys. So Even Israel, they had this dream, or to have Russians involved in a battle called uh, Armageddon, Gog and Magog, actually, but the Russians took out the troops, meaning the Israeli dream uh, was destroyed. So you have Muslims' dream destroyed, Jewish dream destroyed. We're talking about these guys who believe in the doomsday scenario of the Battle of the Armageddon. So their dreams were destroyed totally. So they need to have a new plan. For the way, this was very, very unexpected from President Putin to agree on the deal that was offered by Turkish President Erdogan, who had, of course, who, of course, had got the green light from President Trump to enter Syria with the promise that no resistance, no fights will occur. So this guy, Syrian new leader, Al Nusra leader, ISIS former leader Al Julani Ahmad Al Shara, he maybe he was not told that he got ordered that he go take out Syria, and he was like, oh, this is nice, but of course nobody was fighting, uh, like real fighting, Russians and stuff, and Iranians and Hezbollah, and so he got whole Syria, and he was, maybe I'm dreaming, but of course President Putin, Russia, they took this decision to take out to leave Syria for its own destiny. In return, they will have uh, Ukrainian forces not fighting but sitting on the table to make an agreement with President Trump and President Putin and Zelensky, President Zelensky. So Europeans were not calculated in, of course. This is the policy of President Trump, making politics on his own. He saw how President Biden he failed to free Ukraine, to deliver a blast to Russia, and this is because of that he made this deal. He called President Erdogan before, of course, he took office. I mean, this year, President Trump. So when he was re-elected, talking about 20 November, it was already known. Uh, either the polls showed that most Americans they will vote for President Trump. So he started this already in November this year. This is called President Erdogan, and they started maybe earlier. I'm just speculating here, but the plan was to take out to free Syria from Russians, but to have Ukrainian President Zelensky uh, signed to a deal with President Trump, Putin, to have peace in Ukraine, so can President Trump he can concentrate on creating greater Israel. So what happened that actually that President Zelensky he went to USA, he was for signing, but President Trump he was harsh and he touched him a couple of times, like stay in place. And so, of course, President Zelensky he destroyed a lot for President Trump, and even the Israelis they counted that one peace is achieved in Ukraine. President Trump and the Europeans will start a fight in Gaza to take out Palestinians by force, and even involving in war against Egypt and Jordan in case they don't agree on this greater Israel plan in Gaza. So this is why I'm proposing President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, you can start planning to create Greater Israel on planet Mars. You are going there. So, okay, this sounds crazy, but it's not me. It's President Trump. You go to him and tell him that one. Tell him that it sounds crazy to create a nation on another planet. Sorry. So, of course, President Putin, he wants results. He doesn't want talks and this kind of show in the White House. Almost fought. They, they could have a wrestling match like our father in heaven, King Anu. He had a wrestling match with Alalu. Alalu, he was forced to uh, to live on planet Mars and die there. And we have talked about his where he is buried. So yeah, so President Trump, he went harsh. He want results. President Putin, he want results. President Trump, he wants results. President Zelensky, he want to have his creation in Ukraine, and President Trump, he promised President Putin to deliver peace on Ukraine. So President Trump is uh, very disappointed with President Zelensky. You need to know his feeling. You need to have this tension out. You need to make all these leaders come together and we give them solution. We can see stuff from different point of view. We are not leaders. We don't have so much information like these talks they do have about the military and economy. But I have a plan to create Greater Israel on planet Mars with the help of Elon Musk and the approval of Prime Minister Netanyahu. So planet Mars for you, Netanyahu, you are waiting for President Trump to help you achieve Greater Israel in Gaza and in the Middle East. And now President Trump is he has his hands like he cannot do anything unless he can proceed with this peace deal. So you see the problem here, Prime Minister Netanyahu. If you cannot force uh, President Zelensky to write peace, to agree on peace in Ukraine, you cannot proceed with Greater Israel because President Putin, he wants results. He does not want talks and this theater. He wants some real stuff. So if President Putin, if not delivered peace in Ukraine in the coming weeks, President Putin will will do stuff that will surprise Europe, and it will be a hit on the Americans. Not military I'm talking about, but talking about the allies. This is the most shocking part on this video. Israel can drop President Trump in 1 second. Israel can do peace with Russia. They can go to Russia and support Russia in Ukraine. So Israel can support Russia in Ukraine. So President Trump, he needs to deliver this. Otherwise, Israel will support Russia in Ukraine. Now I remember what President Trump he told to Zelensky. Zelensky, President Zelensky. He said he don't have many cards. He can do peace, or he can face the Israelis in Ukraine. So this is very hard for people to understand. Israel can do whatever to create greater Israel. They can support Russia in Ukraine. And becomes like America, Israel, and Russia against Ukraine and European countries. Now we understand the whole situation. See, the Arab countries never had this relations with Russians. They did not. They had only this with Assad in the Arabic Baas Party that ruled in Syria since the 60s. The only real friend they had in the region. And now they don't have this relation with America, with the Arab countries. Just compared to the Americans administration, they had these deals with Saudi Arabia, and President Trump talking about the Abrahamic deal. Forced Saudi Arabia, no, sorry, Morocco, Sudan, Bahrain, UAE, Emirates to sign peace deal with Israel. This is the influence of President Trump on the politics in the Middle East. He signed all these countries, they have agreed on peace with Israel. So they cannot go to war now. Of course, and this is for Israel, it was only this little tiny detail. President Putin, he have peace in Ukraine. President Trump, he go in and create greater Israel in the Middle East. He will take responsibility for this project. And President Zelensky, he stopped that project. So how can you justify President Zelensky? It's your own Jews in the Middle East, they want greater Israel, and you want to have your country back. So it is about priority. So President Trump cannot proceed. Who cannot proceed? Zelensky, he wants to proceed on his own, and this is very, very strange for a lot leaders in the world, and of course, Russia will not. Russia will not proceed with this plan, and it's that they're gonna try to they ignore this one and they play along, and you have this war, and of course they don't care about Russia, Israel much. They don't have any issue with that. American people relation to the Jewish people in the Middle East, to the Israel, and the relation between Israel and Russian Federation. This is not okay. Americans are helping Russia, Israel with money and power and military, but that means nothing. They don't have this connection. The Russians and the Israelis in Palestine, they are mostly one people. You see the difference here. The Russians in Israel, the Jews in Israel mostly, they are Russians. They have Russian citizenship. They are Russians. You will never have this scenario that Russia is attacking Israel and killing Russians in Israel. These are Russians. Okay, Netanyahu is Polish, from Poland. Most people in Israel are Russian. So they have this connection with Russia. Israel will enjoy taking out Europe in the meantime until Greater Israel plan is delivered and it was stopped by Zelensky. So they can take out Europe, not Zelensky only. They can take out Europe, Israel, by blackmailing. So you okay? You want to have a war with Russia, but you don't want to have war with Hamas. You don't want to have war with radical Islam, and they are trying to blame Europe for its own politics. You know that Europe took a lot of refugees from the Middle East to help create Greater Israel, but Great Israel wanted Zelensky to sign up the deal, and he did not do that in place. Now he's talking about, oh, I'm gonna, I'm feeling, I regret and stuff. But President Trump yesterday said he got the message from Zelensky. It is okay. We signed the deal, but the show, I don't know. So even if they signed the deal, it's not like the plan went without any problems. So these problems, they will, these problems will affect the implementation of the original plan. And this is because, to be honest, everything, President Zelensky, he went to USA to sign the deal. So, but the way President Trump, let's be honest here, I'm not for Zelensky, I'm not for Trump, I'm not for the European leaders, I'm not for Netanyahu, I'm not for Iran, I'm not for Russia, I'm not for Putin. I don't have anything to do with Russia. So I was accused to be a Muslim. I was not. I was to be accused to be a Russian agent. I'm not. I don't have any connection to President Putin. Although I made a video, I was talking about I have a connection with it. It was like trying to explain something else that is my connection to President Trump, which is from the conspiracy site I was writing in, and he commented, but of course, maybe somebody else is pretending to be President Trump. Anyways, President Putin is it's called. I made a video when he entered Ukraine and explained why he entered Ukraine and the whole stuff, and how he lied to his own people. So I don't have a lot of feelings for President Putin when he lied in front of the Russian people. I don't have any understanding why he did that. Anyways, we go back to the subject. So President Assad, he was mainly forced to leave, and of course, this is Russia. If you promise, if you have a shop and you want to buy cigarette, you give me money, and then I need to give you the cigarette. If I don't give you the cigarette, there will be a problem. This is what's going on. President Putin, he was promised, he was already paid for the cigarettes, but he didn't get the cigarettes. So now, we're gonna watch how President Zelensky, you're gonna force President Trump, you're gonna force President Zelensky to deliver the peace deal, so President Trump, he can proceed. Otherwise, he cannot proceed. That's why we have all the money. Dow Jones, Nasdaq, all it went down 3.3 yesterday. We don't know what will happen today. Everybody watching, and of course, Israel didn't start the war. It's supposed to be starting now. Last week, level 2 of the agreement did not. We didn't reach that level. Before reaching level 2, military will go in and put pressure on Gaza. Hamas, the final solution. Hell will come on Gaza. Hamas must terminated, according to President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. When Hamas refused to release more hostages, hell will break loose in Gaza. It didn't happen because, Zelensky, President Zelensky, you had his image destroyed in the White House. And this is what the price you have to pay to have some kind of respect among the European leaders who look up to him as some kind of Churchill, Winston Churchill, or some kind of this leader. So been fighting all the time, have military clothes, fighting, thinking about battle and fight and war and dreams of defeating Russia. But you cannot do that, President Zelensky, if you don't have the Yankees, don't have the Americans with you. Very hard. But of course, if you want to do it now with the Europeans only, but do not forget about Israel. Israel may have a say in this situation, and they can. If you don't deliver peace if you don't sit with the Russians, I'm very afraid Israel will enjoy the division between Europe and America, and instead they can align themselves with Russia. With Russia means with China. So Israel, Russia, and China against Europe. Sorry, USA, China, Russia, USA, China, and Russia, and Israel. USA, China, and Russia, these are the three most important countries. They call Israel, join us. We're gonna start a war with the Europeans. You don't have any chance. You don't have any chance. President Zelensky, you need to play this one good. I admire your braveness in the White House. All we saw, you're not supposed to touch. He touched you. President Trump, you don't touch. With all respect, you don't touch. You have a meeting, you don't touch him. Like, I made a video about that. With the zoomed in one. President Trump, he touched President Zelensky 2 times with the finger, and I thought I will not show that video. Maybe I got problem with YouTube because President Trump, he made a deal with President Putin, and he knew he would make President Zelensky agree to this deal, or maybe he already heard it's okay, and then President Zelensky said no, and he felt insulted. And now let's not put salt in the injury, but of course it will take some time to heal the injury, spiritual. President Trump, he went harsh, and he mocked him, and of course because maybe he promised him something that he cannot deliver without USA. So why are you here? You need to deliver, make a deal about the minerals in Ukraine so we can proceed. If you're not, why are you here? Trying to make clown show? This is President Trump's point of view. Sorry. And President Zelensky was emotional. He was He was humiliated, in other words. So this humiliation is not enough for President Putin. He wants more. He wants peace. Otherwise, America and Russia and China and Israel, they can take out Europe. And the European leaders are still, they don't know what to do. You need to have orientation. You want to fight Russia? With all respect, you don't want to fight America, Europe. You don't want to fight them. Oh, so it will never happen. Military, we have this connection. It's not about the tariffs, the taxes, the way President Trump, he wants to reshape the relations with Europe. Europe cannot stand that. They put themselves in the corner with President Zelensky. And of course, I feel that President Zelensky was humiliated. So it's very, very complicated situation. That's why I proposed to postpone the project of Greater Israel, start trying to plan it on Planet Mars. And this stuff because President Trump, I told him, people of Gaza, they are protected by El, son of the Most High, Anu. And El is the one who gave the name to Israel. So Israel or Israel Elil. Elil is Enlil, son of the Most High, who had promised Abraham to have all these countries, and the people who are living these, the Palestinians, worshipped El, and then they changed from the worship of El to worship of Allah. So Allah, El, you know where we're going. Ilah, Allah, Ilahu, this is from El. And the Israel, they have this connection in the name of their country, Israel. From Enlil. But of course, they talk about Jehovah. Jehovah is supposed to be Enlil. Jehovah is supposed to be also Marduk, Mordechai. So that's why President Trump is not understanding the difference between Marduk, son of Enki, Adonai, and Enlil, his uncle. See, Adonai, Enki, had the whole of Africa. He does not have it now. And this is why Israel has threatened Egypt, because they need to have the Sinai Peninsula. So if war starts between Israel and Arab countries, they will go attack Egypt directly. They want the green light. They want to do it today. But not before having Russia and Ukraine sitting on a table and doing peace. You cannot have attacking Russia, Egypt now. You need to see how is Russia doing. Because in such case, if you go Israel and attack Egypt, you know that America will help. Russia maybe help Egypt. So Israel cannot attack Egypt unless they know that Russia got Ukraine. See what you done, President Zelensky. You have stopped the Greater Israel, the plan in Gaza. And even now, if you say, I'm sorry, please, sorry, I regret, I beg you pardon, it will not help. You have stopped this movement. You have stopped this plan. Start from 7th of October 2023. And for that one, for you are dignified in the White House. You have your honor, you kept your honor. Everybody was afraid, almost President Trump and Vance, they would beat you up also, like physical, like knock you with the head. But you showed braveness. So this one, uh, something to remember. Very brave, very dignified. All respect to that. But you have started other stuff. See, Palestinians, they are very happy with what happened in the White House. They know that the plan of Greater Israel have stopped. Now they need to know the relation between America and Russia. Can America be friendly to Russia? Can they trust each other? Can they get this Cold War scenario? We know the Soviets are not there, and America is becoming communist. This is the stuff here, people. The Russia become the capitalists, and America become the communists. And you see that President Trump, many are start speculating he maybe have something to do with KGB and stuff like that. But I don't know about that. He went to Russia before President Trump, and but we're talking about President Trump making USA to communist country, communist country. So it's swipe. Communists become America, and the capitalists become Russia. And America needs, even they say, we are going to be communists in USA. All these countries in Europe, they need to follow up. Like Warsaw Pact. So you remember all these countries in Poland and who were like under the Russian Soviet influence. This is, remember, we take you back to NATO. This is why they started NATO in the first place, because they want to stop the Soviets. And now the Soviets are gone, so you don't need to have NATO. You need to have countries show loyalty to the new Russia, that is USA, the new Soviet, sorry. So talking about Soviet, they could have all this big country with a lot of different ethnics and religious people, and they all were joined in on this harsh dictatorship, military, police state, Soviet. And this scenario can help solve a lot of problems in the world between this religious sectarian violence in the Middle East and in Europe. We have start of this confrontation between this politics. They want to have non-immigrant policies, and these one who feel like the immigrants need to go to return home, and this mean that the immigrants if you take them back to home, that is Greater Israel, that is Palestine, Iraq. These guys are talking about these guys, not other guys from Africa. These guys from Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, all these people that are in Europe, from the Middle East, from Palestine, from Syria, from Lebanon, from Jordan, from Iraq. All these guys, they need to go home to Greater Israel, to Greater Syria. And these guys, if they go home, Prime Minister Netanyahu will not be happy. Now you understand why it started. The rise of the national uh, movement in Europe collides with Zionism. They want the people from the Middle East to return home and stop the migration. Israel wants to start the immigration from Gaza people to Europe. Confrontation. And this is why President Trump, he thought, you are not allowing me to have a migrated Israel plan. And this is for you, Europe. This is for you, Europe. This is for Ukraine. You're not you are not gonna get any help from me. I'm gonna stop all the weapons, all the money. Even in Poland, all these planes were going to Ukraine. They will not be delivered. You see why the problem is the European political leaders, they have activated this plan to evacuate, to return all the people, immigrants, back to Israel, Palestine, Gaza. And Israel said, yes, no. What? That's why European leaders, they need to have a priority. Is it internal problems or external problems? You need to go to fight against Russia, and at the same time, you need to get rid of all these people living in your countries, Christian countries, mostly Muslims, immigrants. They need to go back home. Go back home. Israel will not be happy. So that's why I'm talking about Israel joining forces with Russia and America to teach Europe a lesson. And China, of course, will help Russia and Israel with America against Europe. So they need to take out Europe before they proceed to Great Britain. So now we have instead war between the Palestinians and the Israelis. We will have a war between Europeans and this new force, Russia, America, China, and Israel. So Europeans now are in war, but they don't have only Russia. They have Israel. They have is against any national policies that force immigration to return back to home, and against these policies that will not allow Palestinians to come to Europe from Gaza, and these 2 million Palestinians in Gaza already. They need to have new places in Europe, but European leaders are saying no, and you say no, Trump will say no to you. He will not help you against Russia. You will be fighting Russia, China, America, and Israel. So that's why I believe Greater Israel plan will be on planet Mars. So that's all, people. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Blessings.